What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about how wide receivers can avoid injuries while making cuts. We're going to be talking about the proper mechanics of cutting while you're running full speed, how you can drop your hips into a break efficiently, and how you can make cuts off the line of scrimmage on a release without hurting yourself and without putting too much stress on your body, on your joints, on your knee, and on your ankle, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys out, gives you some value, and it teaches you a few new things about cutting and how you guys can safely practice that. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want 8 weeks. You want an 8-week long schedule of what you need to be doing in the gym to improve your overall performance. Check out that very first link in the description for our wide receiver gym training bundle. So what it is an 8-week long workout schedule for wide receivers, giving you all the exercise you need to do to improve your speed off the ball, explosiveness at the top of the route, and overall athleticism/strength. So I hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in that description below for our wide receiver gym bundle. Let's get started. So first cut we're looking at here is from Sterling Shepard, right? As full speed as it gets, cutting on one leg, making a tight 90-degree angle. So the top of the route, so many people are worried when it comes to making a cut like this. When it comes to making a speed cut, dropping their hips, cutting on a dime. That's why so many people don't have the ability to sell vertical. The whole goal of this, obviously, fellas, is to sell vertical, is to play fast, is to get this DB to commit to the break and then be able to eliminate as much time spent at the top, right? But so many people are not comfortable with that because they don't have ankle stability, don't have knee stability, don't have leg stability, right? And that's a lot of those workouts that we emphasize in that gym program that I just talked about. But you got to be doing those specific exercises to build up that strength, to build up the ankle stability, knee stability, and all that to get comfortable with this stuff. But also the mechanics of the movement matter. The mechanics of what you're actually stepping with matter. So you see when Shepard goes to make this break, anytime we're making a speed cut, fellas, we got to make sure that that cuts underneath my frame. So many people struggle with this. So many people think that they got to reach out for depth. They got to reach. Like if the route's at 12 yards and they're going to end up cutting at 11, oh, I got to reach to 12 and a half. I got to reach out. And then what ends up happening is their pad level pops up. They start leaning back and that takes away explosion. But also when you guys are reaching outside of your frame, that's when you're susceptible to injury. When you keep that cut inside of your frame and you keep it underneath your framework right here, where it's like underneath your shoulders, underneath your body, whatever it is, that gives you balance. That allows you to be more stable with the cut, right? So now the other thing that matters is where are you striking the ground with this cut, right? So you see when Shepard gets into this thing, he's not going heel first. He's not striking the ground on his heel. He's on the arch of his foot, like the balls of his feet. He's not on his tippy toes because he doesn't want to fall forward, but he's also not on his heels. When you guys go heel first, that's a great way to put a ton of stress on your Achilles and on your ankle. So you want to make sure that you are striking the ground properly to be able to get out of this thing efficiently and to be safe with the cut, right? So it's underneath his frame and he's striking it on the arch of his foot. Those are the two most important things that when it comes to making a cut. You don't want to strike on the inside arch, right? So many people think, like I say it as well, you want to drive off the inside arch, right? But don't get me confused with striking on the inside arch, because when you strike on the inside arch, that puts a ton of stress on your knee. So you want to be on the balls of your feet, that middle arch of your foot, and then you're pushing off the inside arch, almost like a pitcher would off of a mound, to be able to get that explosion and to be able to get that burst off of the cut and create some energy, okay? So make sure that we are cutting underneath my frame and I'm on that arch of my foot. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Then we'll get into how you guys can snap down properly without injuring your knee, right? So great job by Shepard popping this thing off, and has a very tough break to do while you're running full speed. So now we're looking at this route from Jerry Jeudy, and he's one of the guys that everybody loves to talk about that says, oh, well, he's just different. He can cut differently. And yes, he's a great athlete. Yes, he's got explosive breaks, more explosive than a lot of people, even some people in the league, probably one of the most explosive guys. But that doesn't mean that you guys can't translate some of the techniques that he uses into your own game, right? There are plenty of receivers that snap down. There are plenty of receivers that can get out of a break fast like him and be explosive off the line. So what are the mechanics of it? Why is he able to move the way he does? Yes, he's got freaky flexibility. Yes, he's got great hips, but how is he striking the ground, right? So when you're snapping down and you're dropping your weight, so many people struggle with this principle of trusting your hips. And that's where a lot of injuries come. That's where you put a lot of stress on your ankle, and that's where you don't get out of breaks efficiently, right? So what a lot of people will do is they'll be running into a route, right? And again, being able to run full speed is the goal. That's why it's so important to talk about the mechanics of a cut, your hip drop, being flexible, having ankle stability, knee stability. The whole goal is to run full speed and be able to change direction and not lose any of that speed. Pretty simple. That's as simple as it gets for playing the wide receiver position. So when I drop into a break, so many people will just bend at the waist. They'll keep their legs super tall. They'll stand here and they'll just bend forward. They won't drop their weight. There needs to be a level change, right? Like somebody's got a string and somebody's pulling the string down. That's how you want to think of your pad level. You're in your body weight and your hips. That's how you want to think of it. And that's exactly what Jeudy does. You see how he's coming off here and it's a drop of his pad level. He's actually using his hips. He's actually dropping his hips down. So many people can't do this, and that's where the injuries happen. Like I said, they'll step super hard with their legs, but there's no drop of their hips. They're not bringing their chin to their knee, they're pretty much bending forward. So you want to make sure to be able to get in that explosive position, but also to where these steps won't hurt you. You got to drop your weight because, again, it's all about having that movement be underneath your frame, you being in a balanced spot. This is a balanced spot. When people just bend at their waist and fall forward, usually they're on their toes, and that's how we know we're not trying to strike the ground. Or usually they step super hard with their feet, which puts a lot of stress on their ankles because they're running full speed and trying to make a 3-step break to get them back 90, to get them back 45, or to get them even 90 on like a dig, right? So we got to make sure, fellas, that anytime that I'm snapping down, anytime that I'm dropping my hips to avoid injury, I have to trust my hips and I actually have to drop my pad level and make a level change, right? Like I'm on level 3 up here, I got to drop down to level 1. That's the main thing to make sure that you don't get injured and avoid injury when you have to snap down on a route. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. The trigger step should be dropping your hips. Dropping your hips is what gets you in and out of a break. All right, guys, if you have not heard, we will be in San Diego on October 24th. That is a Sunday. A great opportunity for you guys to come out and get some work in. If you are in the San Diego area, if you're a quarterback and wide receiver, I myself will be working with the quarterbacks and receivers, and then we're bringing out a Division I speed coach to help you guys out with 40-yard dash techniques, overall running mechanics, and just things to make you a better athlete. So check out that second link in the description below. If you guys are in the San Diego area or close to it, you want to come out and get some work in with us, we would love to have you guys out there. Second link in that description below. Only taking 20 people, so these spots will fill up quick, fellas. October 24th, second link below. Let's get back to this video, okay? So now, last thing I want to talk about is press releases off the line. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about foot strike. We're going to be talking about how you want to bring your hip with the cuts, right? So I talk a lot about stepping outside of a DB's frame, right? Because that's the only way we're going to get him to move. If you're going up against a talented DB, especially guys in the NFL, right? Especially guys in college, those guys are all talented, right? Everybody loves to say, oh, that DB sucks. Oh, he plays for whatever, like Cowboys, whoever. Everybody loves to say that. Everybody loves to say that, oh, that DB's bad. Dude, these guys are at the highest possible level. They're not bad. They would punk any high school receiver and any low division college, probably any college receiver for that matter, at what they do. So you got to understand that what's going to make a disciplined DB move at the next level is going to really translate to when you guys are playing youth ball and high school ball, right? So that's number one. Number two, now how to avoid injury, right? So when because that's the whole focus of the video. When I step outside of a DB's frame, a lot of people think that when I step wide, that's going to put a ton of stress on my knee, ton of stress on my ankle. I'm going to be slow because I'm reaching for the cut. Nobody ever said to reach. I said to step. I said to throw your hip to the outside and throw your upper half to the outside because that's what allows this cut to be efficient. You see how when Edelman does this, he's bringing his entire hip. He brings his whole entire hip with the cut because now he's outside of the DB's frame, but underneath his frame. You want to be outside with your foot, but that cut is underneath your frame, aka you're bringing your body with the cut, right? That takes off all the stress that you have on that knee and that ankle. You don't end up reaching for the cut. You don't have this slow, explosive movement. You make sure that you're in a balanced position, okay? So now, let's bring me to the second point on that. So make sure we're balanced. Make sure you're bringing your upper half with any kind of release that you throw. Now, the other thing is I want you to see where he strikes the ground, right? He doesn't open up his toe, right? So you see how he's got that like shin angle back 45 to the inside. So many wide receivers, when they do a cut like this, they'll open up their hip this way and that toe will open up. So when you try to push back this way and your knees opened up in this direction, that puts a lot of stress on that ACL, meniscus, and all that stuff that's on the inside part of that knee, right? Again, I'm not an expert on all that specific stuff, but all I know is that I've seen injuries like that where guys will open up their toe, point it towards the outside, point their hip, point their knee, then they try to push back the opposite direction. And they'll either pop up and be slow or they'll put a ton of pressure on their knee and they'll injure themselves. So make sure that every time I'm focused on striking the ground, I have my toes slightly open or just straight forward, right? I don't want them turned in and I don't want my toes turned out when I make a cut. I want to bring my body with the cut. I want to have my toes somewhat open, but I want that shin angle to be back on that 45 when I decide to push out of there. I don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on that knee, okay? So let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Edelman bringing his hip with the cut, bringing his upper half with that cut, and obviously getting that DB to jump off platform, but making an efficient movement. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I always appreciate the feedback. Always great hearing from you guys. And again, if you want 8 weeks of wide receiver gym workouts to help you build your ankle stability, knee stability, leg strength, all the stuff that's going to help you with cutting, explosiveness, speed, strength, grip strength, all the above, check out that very first link in the description for our 8-week wide receiver gym bundle. Hope you guys could check that out. I'll see you guys next time.